Right, straight into a must-win game against local rivals Porto. Boys came out firing with a point to prove. João Pedro's been everywhere, more on him later. But a scintillating performance under pressure from the boys. Porto got a couple back, but we battered them. Right, so this means that we have clawed Benfica in now. It's only 4 points, and remember, our next game is against Benfica. To be fair to us, we put a hell of an effort in here trying to claw this back. It was 12 points at one point. But if we don't beat Benfica, that means they will lift the trophy at our expense.
Are you ready?
This now means the final of the TATO de Portugal is the only chance of silverware this season, and it's a trophy we haven't won. But luckily, the boys were at it. Braga couldn't handle us. And the guy we knew who was going to be a star, he just looks better and better. Yes indeed, João Pedro, I am convinced, is the new Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo. Massive 4-0 win gets us the trophy. I'm not quite sure what to make of that season. On the one hand, it was a great season, but disappointment in the Champions League and the league. But we did win a trophy, so not all bad. I guess I'm getting a bit spoiled. Now, João Pedro, I am convinced he is the next Ronaldo. R9, not the Portuguese one. Look at the way he's progressed. He's dribbling, he's finishing, he's even got a bit of strength like R9 had, and his statistics for this season were 19 starts, 20 goals. We called it at the start of the season when he got back from loan. What a player, excited for what he can do next season. But it looks like we're going to have to use that dreaded rebuild word, because as the season comes to a close, you can see down this side here, we have an absolute ton of players wanted, and some of them are wanted by some seriously big teams. Premier League teams looking at the goalkeeper, defenders, Premier League teams. Vlad the Destroyer is wanting to buy every big team you can think of. Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle, Tottenham, Barca. It's going to be a miracle if we could keep hold of some of these players. It's got that stupid that Tottenham have stolen Alex Iwobi as their new assistant manager. I mean, what the hell? On the plus side, Porto are in absolute dire straits. They've got a net debt now of 200 million and they are in administration. Wow. So I guess we better think about the rebuild now. You'll see both defensive midfield positions I have left empty because those are the two positions I really want. The good news is we've permanently signed Daniel now to a contract. We had him on loan last season, but he's signed full-time for 13 million and already his value is triple that. But I like the look at the team. The front three are set in stone. Mabasso ended up last season with 23 goals, so he's going to stay in that role. Silva's the experienced man at 29. And we've got the new Ronaldo up front with the trip man down the right-hand side. I'm going to move Pozo over to inverted fullback on the right-hand side. If you look at him, he's all set up for that. He can play anywhere across the back three and randomly on the wing. Let's not put him there. If we can keep hold of him, because of all these teams after him, that back four looks really solid. The only problem is the transfer budget is pathetic yet again. To try to generate funds, we said farewell to Bong Musa Sibaya, who we bought all them years ago from South African football. He's off for 20 million to the United Arab Emirates. But unfortunately, my board are so tight that from that 20 million, they only gave me 3 million. And I needed that to top up the money to get Daniel, the left back, in. So it's back to square one. We need 2 starting defensive midfielders, and we've got no money to get them. We might have to cash in on one of these players. But remember, all of them have pretty much got huge release clauses. So I guess we'll wait and see in a few weeks. One of them could be this man, Daniel Idrisu. He's came in on a free transfer from Gil Vicente. Bit of a destroyer, not great on the ball, but he might do the job. I'm in July now, 1st of July, and you can see there's some bids coming in. And for players that do not want to sell, Mabasso. Wolfsburg are after Mabasso. But he's one player who does not have a release clause. And there is no way I'm taking 23 million for my boy Mabasso. And then I'm gripped by this from the agent of Paul Wanner. Paul Wanner, a player that I rescued from Benfica's reserve team, just rejected a bid from Jeddah. And now he wants to go there to chase the money like Hugo Felix and Jordan Henderson. 20.5 million for a 30-year-old. Have that. This is what happens when you get somewhat successful. Look at the next two things coming in. Pozo from Tottenham and Dortmund for Vlad the Destroyer. What are they trying to do? They're trying to rip my team to bits, man. So Tottenham, I know you've got a lot of money and there's absolutely no way you're getting Pozo for 43 million. He's 21, he's full of potential. And there's that release clause of 80 million. So we're going to drive this right up. Here we go. 120. Let's see what they say. Ta-ta. Dortmund came in, throwing money, which will rise to 52 million. That is pretty big. But can I just show you something? Look at what the board are willing to give me from that 52. 3.1 million. What? Either way, I rejected it. Either way, this looks like being an incredibly long summer, just like deflecting bids from left, right and centre. Every time I get to this page, I'm panicking that there's going to be another one. At the minute, we're okay. At least João Ronaldo has signed a new deal. There's some good news. Damn it. Look at the number next to the transfer badge. I mean, who's that going to be? Okay, Wolfsburg are back for Mabasso. He doesn't want to join them, and they're offering 31 rising to 35. It's not enough. It's not enough. And here is El Ittihad for Paul Wanner, and they're offering 21 million. Now, he's 31. So I might do this. Because I do have a replacement in from Brazil, like the remit of the save, to replace him. If we were to do this, it'd be a huge, huge profit for one season. You can see we bought him for 2.8 million. He had a decent season, in honesty. He was decent. Accepted. Season preview has us second behind Benfica again. So Benfica have clawed their title back, but we're going to be in the shake-up. This season's all about getting that title back and going a step further in the Champs League. If I have any bloody players left, by the way, because everybody's wanted. Thing is, though, I don't want to accept any bids because I'm not getting any money. They're just like taking the money and I don't know what they're doing with it. So this is the kid I've got who's going to replace Paul Wanner. I signed him last year and sent him straight on loan to Grêmio back in Brazil. Attributes are on the rise because of that loan move. It's developed him really well. They want him again, but I'm going to keep him for this season. I want him playing in behind our Ronaldo, João Pedro in there. So those two, I want them to be like our Ronaldinho and Ronaldo. That's what I've got in my head. So he can be the replacement, and that's why I'm going to let Wanner leave. But yeah, he needs a new face. Let's work on that. Damn. I'm sorry this episode's mostly about my torture, but now here come Barcelona, and you know he's going to kick off if I reject Barcelona. They've came in with a non-negotiable 55 million, and the board have agreed to give us 3.5 million of that. Oh, thanks. Absolutely not. He's got an 80 million release clause. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't come back in. It's easy to get distracted by all these transfers getting deflected and rejecting bids when we still need 2 players in this zone here. So it could be time to look at the loan market because we obviously can't buy anyone yet again. But having looked at the loan market, there's nothing on there that was any better than what we've already got. So we're just going to abort that for now. So we rescued Paul Wanner's career and he's gone for 25 million, rising to that. You can see why. Greedy. Absolutely fine with it though. Ready-made replacement in Vegas. He's just got another couple for Grêmio and he's been upgraded now to media description. Wonder Kid. Can't wait to get him back. Good riddance, Wanner. Right, I've jumped to this Maini one. Right. 40 million, rising to 50 million. 15 goes to his old club, so they're laughing. Cape Town City, you're welcome. The board again giving us 3.6 million. That is pathetic. And the thing is, I'm happy to sell him because I've got a better player in his position, but I'm just a bit annoyed. Maini's gone, but I rejected the Pozo move, and of course, Pozo and his agent are kicking off. The good news is, as it stands, I do have a team to put on the field. I'm not overly excited by the central midfield pairing, but what can I do? I don't have enough money. So whether I can train someone to play in there or just go with them. Stop the clocks. I thought Porto was bad. Take a look at this. Benfica, 400 million in debt. They're in administration as well. Am I the only club that can run properly here? Wow. Right, so Maini's left us for 40 million. He's off to wherever he's off to, and he's getting what he wanted, 500,000 a week. Another greedy little... But to be fair, we bought him for 500,000 6 years ago. He's never been a regular. He's always done okay, so I'll take it. That's a record transfer income already of 61 million, and it's only the 22nd of July. Late in July, Still, all the big players are wanted. This is going to be up to the wire whether we can keep them or not. Okay, we're 2 days off the start of the season and nobody else has left. Big Vlad the Terminator, people have dropped out for him. I think we're going to be all right here. We've got to get through deadline day, but fingers crossed, I've got most of my team that I wanted to keep. Problem is, I haven't improved the midfield. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Despite all the upheaval of the transfer window, we did take the first trophy of the season. It's the Super Cup against Benfica. And that's our first one of those, so tick that one off the list. So I'm quite aware this episode's been a bit haphazard of me just crumbling under transfer pressure. But to be honest, I am quite happy with the team that I've got. But what I've noticed is, as I look down it, I've got a really thin squad now because I'm concentrating so much on deflecting transfer bids. I haven't really built my team, so as deadline day approaches, sometimes we get some good players on deadline day, so stay tuned. Oh, and by the way, I've added some faces to some of the new gens. Beautiful. This is our boy who I think is going to be like Ronaldinho. And I've had a few requests. At the end of today's video, I'm just going to play right through 6 or 7 player profiles that are going to be big players for this season. So you can have a scan of them and maybe suggest what roles we could or retrain them to. So we'll do that at the end of the vid. So to bulk the squad out, I thought let's get a bit of experience in. We've always had a young squad. Average age at the minute is 25. It's for that reason we made the shock signing of Rodrigo on a free transfer. He's been at Real Madrid his entire career, his entire glorious career. He joins us for a 1-year deal to wind up his career. As an impact sub, his attributes are still there. Yes, he hasn't got the pace anymore, but you telling me with those mentals and technicals, he can't have an impact and he can cover a lot of different positions. And one more bit of experience, Tanguy Nianzou comes in who can play centre-back or in the midfield. He looks a real practical signing. 2-year deal for him, he costs us about 2 million. Now the squad looks that little bit bigger, but we've still got to get through deadline day with all our players intact. The Champions League fixtures have been released. It's pretty rough that. Barcelona, Real Madrid and FC Bayern. So we better beat the rest of the teams if we want to get through that. With all this transfer news, it's easy to forget about the league, but we started really well. Beat Porto again. Much better start than last season. We've won 4 out of 4 and it's again us and Benfica at the top with Sporting. If you look down below, you might find Porto somewhere. Here it is then. This is deadline day. Now I'm not going to bring anyone in if I don't need to, because I don't have any money. It's all about if these big clubs do a last minute hit on us. Didn't take long, did it? So Chelsea have came in non-negotiable for Pozo. 45 million rising to 50. Oh, I don't know what to do. Here's my conundrum. Since he started getting a bit arsey and unhappy, I left him out of the team. And the team's actually alright without him. It's actually alright without him, so we could probably afford to cash in. Just above that, Tottenham have put a bid in for Vlad. They are not getting Vlad for 51 million. I know that for a fact. Back to Pozo. The other teams after him are Bournemouth, Brighton and Crystal Palace. Now, I don't think they'll have the money that Chelsea do. What would you do? If I could ask you right now, I'd ask you. We bought him for 5 million a little over 2 seasons ago. He's been decent without being spectacular, but he is only 21. He's one of those players that in about 3-4 years' time, he's probably going to be worth like 200 million. Right, there's 15 hours left in this transfer window. I'm going to play a hardball. He's got a release clause of 80. If they come back for 60, they'll get him. They'll get him. I've also got to bear in mind that we only get 6 million of that, which is pathetic, by the way. Rejected. So the agents' offers have come in. I can't emphasise enough, have a good look at your agents' offers because they always throw some good ones up. Now this club here, which I can't pronounce for the love of the money, I think they're from Chechnya, is Shavina Zavansa. I've bought a couple of players from them, including Tripovsky. And this guy's just came up, Slobodan Marinkovic. He's 23, right? He can play centre-back, left-back, very much like Pozo. And he's 6'7". He is an absolute giant. So what I'm thinking is, if they come back in for Pozo, we go in for him, but someone else is after him. Who is it? Premier League and... yeah, so he's going to go, so we need to make a decision here. There's another one here, Inza Fall. I've just added him to the shortlist. Like, he's 19. He is probably as good as Pozo, and he's going to be a dirt load cheaper, so... I kind of want them to come back in for Pozo now. 8 hours remaining. 8. That's it. It's closed until January. We didn't lose anyone after all that. But at least we've got some top players on our shortlist. in case they come back for them in January. So after all that, we brought in 70 million, losing a couple of big players, but no great first teamers, and we brought in 17 million worth of talent to replace those players. So we're about to play Benfica away, which is our toughest game of the season, so it's quite good to get it out of the way nice and early. So we'll leave you with that, and after that I'll show you some of the key players, player profiles, so you can kind of tell me what you think of some of the starting 11. But Benfica away, both undefeated. If we can get a good win here, I can't see them stopping us, but it will be tough. Let's see. Starting lineup pretty much picks itself. Mane's in ahead of Pozo at the minute because he's been a diva, but other than that, that's pretty much the starting 11. Opposition instructions, we keep them the same as we always have. Set them up and bang, force them into that left-hand side. So they stay away from our left wing back.